Good morning, Mike.
Hey, Sully, how are you this morning?
Pretty good, man. No fifth grade basketball today?
Not yet. Starting soon, but not yet.
Now, who would you compare yourself to as a basketball coach? What kind of coach? Are you more like Coach K or more like Coach Knight?
In my younger days, I might have been more like Coach Knight, but I'm trying to mellow out as I get older and become a calming influence on the sidelines.
There you go. Let's talk a little football, man. We were both at the big game last night. There was a lot of hype coming into this game and really turned into a one-sided affair after the second quarter with St. Augustine beating Holy Spirit 41-0. I don't know if anybody saw that final score coming.
Well, I think that was the fear. I know that was Holy Spirit's fear going into the game that, that just St. Augustine has so many playmakers out there on the, both the offense and defensive side of the ball, that eventually, even if you stop one or two of those guys, another guy is going to be able to break through and make some big plays. And I thought Holy Spirit, first of all, it was a fantastic atmosphere out there. Got there at 6 o'clock kickoff. You get there at 5 o'clock. There's no parking spaces. I mean, the place was packed. People were tailgating. Really a tremendous atmosphere, for those two schools to play each other. I thought Holy Spirit did a good job in the first quarter. I mean, they held St. Augustine, who came in averaging 46 points a game, to no first downs in the first quarter. They had 3 possessions. They had 3 3-and-outs. But then, like Coach A.J. Russo said, at any time St. Augustine can score. And, the quarterback, Josh Zamat, went up the middle for a 20-yard run, and it seemed like that just turned the faucet on that play because Kyle Dobbins goes 43 yards for a touchdown on the next play. And then, Ezekiel Ennis, who's really kind of emerging as one of the great players in South Jersey this season. Kind of a little guy. I think he's about 5'10", got to be about 155 pounds. But, he makes a great play on a 66-yard touchdown pass, catching the ball, sort of fighting off a defensive back, breaking a tackle. And then he, picks off a pass early in the third quarter. When Holy Spirit really had a chance, they came out of halftime down 20-0. They got the opening kickoff to the third quarter. They're moving down the field. Maybe if they score there, it's a little bit of a different game. But Ennis picks the ball up at the 15-yard line, returns it 85 yards for a touchdown, and the game's pretty much over from there.
Mike, we got to talk to Steve Normain, get you a special parking spot over there for these big games.
Exactly.
You're Mike McGarry. Come on, man.
It's fine.
25 years in the biz, man. You need a own personal parking space over there.
I went to my usual spot, which is on a side street right by the school where I've been parking for years, so I was safe.
There you go. But, yeah, what a great atmosphere. I mean, you want to see that in games in October. You don't really see that too often in the middle of October. I know there was a lot of talk back and forth on Twitter between these guys and real kind of a renewal of a rivalry. And that's what you want to see with high school football is games like this that attract that many fans and, the youth players from local teams, youth cheerleaders. Everybody was out there last night.
Yeah, it was outstanding. And there's a lot of, of course, St. Augustine and Holy Spirit are rivals in every sport. They hadn't played football in 5 years. You had the added sort of intrigue of, Mark Reardon and his top assistant, Charlie Roman, have Holy Spirit backgrounds. They both graduated from the school. Roman coached was the head coach at Holy Spirit when Holy Spirit was winning state titles in, 2007 and the run they went on a little bit later. The coaches all know each other. They're good friends. So you have that sort of intrigue, adding to that atmosphere last night. So it was more than just a game. It was kind of a happening also out there in Absecon.
I got to believe A.J. Russo's going to turn this thing around pretty quick after this loss. I was kind of talking to him. I joked with him after the game, said, hey, might want to throw that tape away. And he said, no, we're going to watch it maybe twice because he wants to get these guys better for next week. That's got to be a tough thing as a coach when you go through that kind of loss to turn a switch and say, okay, still a lot left to play for.
Well, and they do have a lot left to play for. I think they've got Buena Regional in a division game next Friday night. They've got a chance to, they're the team right now to win that, win that division, that West Jersey Football League, that division they're in with Buena, Lower Cape May, Pleasantville, Middle Township. And they've also got big games coming up. They've got a interdivision game with Camden Catholic, who beat Shawnee last night, who's undefeated. So Holy Spirit will have another big game with them. And they got to look in the playoffs where they've got a potential rematch with St. Joe And, Matter Day is a short conference power up here and establishing themselves as a state Group 2 contender. So there's plenty for Holy Spirit to look forward to. I think the thing that Holy Spirit can sort of take comfort in is they're going to face other good teams the rest of the season, but they are not going to face a team with the number of skill position guys and talent that St. Augustine has the rest of the season. So, they'll be playing good teams, Holy Spirit will, the rest of the year. But they won't see another team like St. Augustine the rest of the season.
Yeah, not many teams in South Jersey are going to see the talent level that the Prep has. And one guy I was really impressed with was quarterback Josh Zamot. We talked about that throughout the first hour, just how far he's come as a quarterback since the season opener. He was a little shaky in that first half against Malvern Prep, but ever since then he's really kind of understood the game, understands where to go with the ball. Things have kind of, and you hear this a lot from players, things kind of slow down for him, and it really looks like the game's slowing down for him right now.
Well, I think it's his ability to beat you with his arms and his legs. Like I mentioned before, he had that 120-yard run up the middle, and that kind of loosened up everything, and St. Augustine took off from there. I think last night I was on the St. Augustine sidelines. I think Josh and all of the Hermits might have been, too pumped up early in the game. But what impressed me last night was, and I wrote about this in Press of Atlantic City today, and you can get the story on pressofac.com, that St. Augustine never panicked. Sometimes you go into a game averaging 46 points a game, and you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Sometimes you hit the panic button. Well, why are we scoring touchdowns? Why are we making big plays like we normally do? They never panicked. They kept their poise. It's almost like they knew the big plays were going to come, and they did, and they rolled to a 41-0 win.
Mike, let's turn our attention to a couple of other teams. How good is Millville? They've been on a nice roll here. They're now 4-1 after holding off Hamilton, which made a great comeback attempt. Is Millville a team that can make some noise in the playoffs?
I think they are a team that you look in South Jersey Group 5. Obviously, if you look in South Jersey Group 5, Toms River North's the defending champion. We have them number 2 in our Elite 11. I think they're the kind of favorite. And then after that, that division is kind of wide open. I like this Millville football team. Last year they went to the playoffs, and they should have probably beat Cherokee, who went to the final. They were up on Cherokee. I think it was 21-18 with about, late in the fourth quarter, and Cherokee came back and won that game 25-21. I love Millville. Clayton Scott at running back, Zach Douglas at linebacker, 2 of the best players in South Jersey. And, they got a wide receiver in Marcel Ramos. He plays a little wide receiver. Sometimes he lines up as Wildcat quarterback situation there. So I really like this Millville football team. I think they're legitimate. They're 4-1. Their only loss is to St. Augustine a couple of weeks ago. And in the second half of that game, they played St. Augustine very tough. So I think Millville is, without a doubt, a very legitimate South Jersey Group 5 contender.
Talking with Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, another team that's right on par with St. Augustine, and we haven't really talked too much about, is Vineland, and they've really come out of nowhere to go 5-0. Or what are they now? 5-0 right now.
5-0.
5-0, and they've got a real shot to go undefeated into the playoffs, and they've just been pounding teams. I mean, dropped 61 points on Clearview last night, which is a pretty good team.
Yeah, I think last night Vineland showed me something. You could come in and say, okay, they went into that game 4-0, but they had beaten, Bridgeton, who has 1 win, Cherry Hill East, Egg Harbor Township, Cumberland Regional, 4 teams that are kind of really rebuilding football teams. Vineland goes into Clearview last night, a team that is 3-1, and Vineland scores 61 points and wins that game 61-29. I wake up today thinking about Vineland, completely different than I thought about them, yesterday at about 4 o'clock. So that is a tremendous win. And it also sets up a big game next Saturday at Vineland's Gatone Stadium, where you've got Atlantic City, which is kind of rolling now behind quarterback Nazim Derry. They've won 3 in a row. They're 3-2. They get a big win against Williamstown last night, a Group 5 contender. And you've got a 3-2 Atlantic City looking like they've kind of, righted the ship with 3 straight wins, going in to play a 5-0 Vineland next Saturday in Gatone Stadium. That's a division game, and that's also a game that with a huge South Jersey Group 5, implications. The winner of that game is going to make the playoffs.
Mike, I think Davon Seymour is making a push to be your player of the year. That kid's an amazing running back.
Yeah, he had a great year last year, and it kind of ended early because of an injury. And he's part of a talented backfield. Isaiah Pacheco at quarterback, Cash Phillips at running back. Seymour, the other guy. They've got a great tight end and Liam Anderson, Daquan Cosby at linebacker, who sort of leads that team for tackles. Dan Russo got out there. I believe this is his third or fourth year as head coach, and sometimes that's what it takes to sort of put your imprint on a program and get a program rolling in the right direction. But what they did to Clearview last night on the road, winning that game 61-29, I think without a doubt sort of elevates Vineland, and like I said, sets up an absolutely great game, big game next Saturday afternoon at Gatone Stadium in Vineland, where you've got Atlantic City going to Vineland with all sorts of playoff implications on the line in that one.
Mike, I wrote in the last edition of Glory Days how my favorite name in South Jersey was True Robinson. I don't know. Cash Phillips might be right up there on the list.
There are some great names out there. Cash Phillips, has given Vineland that sort of outside threat, that sort of edge threat to sort of complement the tackle running of Seymour. And when you've got Pacheco back there, he started as a freshman. Now he's a junior. He's a 3-year starter. He's got experience at the quarterback spot. Really just a tremendous job by the Fighting Clan to do what they've done so far this season. 5-0, and obviously in the midst of their best season since 2003 when they finished 7-3. And that team, of course, had Darren Ford, minor league baseball, Major League Baseball player Darren Ford on it. So Vineland with its best season in 13 years right now.
Mike, another team we want to give a quick shout-out to, a really great win, I think, for this program was Ocean City beating Middle Township 40-37 with an outstanding game by quarterback Andrew Donahue, who's one of those traditional three-sport athletes: football, baseball, basketball.
Exactly. Yeah, and he threw 5 touchdown passes last night and gets Ocean City a big win in a Cape May County rivalry game right there. And Ocean City kind of gets to 2-3. Tough loss for Middle Township because they had won a couple coming into that game and were kind of looking to push towards the South Jersey Group 2 playoff spot. But Andrew Donahue throws the 5 touchdown passes, and now Ocean City's 2-3. And here's where you get to this time of year and seasons start to turn. Now you've got Ocean City at 2-3. Playing Mainland, I believe, next Friday night, and Mainland, drops a game to Bridgeton, kind of rebuilding, yet to get a win this season so far. Mainland, so Ocean City, Mainland, obviously one of the premier rivalries in the Cape Atlantic League, Atlantic, Cape May County, and Ocean City with an opportunity to maybe get to 500, 3-3, and kind of thrust themselves into the playoff conversation. So that's what that win did last night for them, giving them a big win over Middle Township, gives them an opportunity to maybe do something special against Mainland next Friday night.
Good stuff as always, Mike. Appreciate you chiming in, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, bud.
Always a pleasure, Sully. I'll see you around the field.
All right, man. Thanks, bud.
See you later. Bye-bye.
As Mike McGarry does a great job for the Press of Atlantic City.